Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. It's your host, Matt Zahab, and we are buzzing as always, still coming in hot from Mexico. By the time this episode airs, I believe this will be the first episode of 2024. Crazy to hear the 4 come out of my mouth. It's always weird writing things down, typing things down. The first month, it always takes me like 2-3 weeks to really just click in and be like, holy shit, it's a new year. But c'est la vie, here we are. Hope everyone had a wonderful 2023 and hope everyone has an even better 2024. I'm super pumped to have today's guest on the show, Josh Jones, the founder of Cornucopias, the one and only blockchain game that is absolutely tearing it up right now. Josh is an experienced startup entrepreneur for the last 25 years, specializing in building marketing teams and crafting strategy to go to scale. Discontent with existing monetary systems, he has a huge passion for the crypto and blockchain industry and is co-founder and stake pool operator of Grow Your Stake, GYS, a mission-driven, clean water for all Cardano stake pool. He's also half of the Cardano-based YouTube podcast, Cardano Chats. I will include everything in the show notes as always, but it is time to learn a little bit more about Josh and Cornucopias. Super pumped to have you on, Josh. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Thanks for having me on the show. It's good to be here. I'm co-CEO and co-founder. So we've got 4 co-founders together. And man, I need to update that bio a little bit. But hey, it's good. We hit the ground running. So it's good to be on the show, man.
Pumped to have you. I will change that bio right away as well. Co-CEO and co-founder. You know what? That's a cool little one. Before we get into your past, let's start with that. I've had a bunch of co-CEOs on the pod. What exactly is a co-CEO? How do you choose who does what? Is it as cliche as it sounds, whereas you would take your strengths and your co-CEO would take his or her strengths? How do you guys sort of divvy up which tasks and things to tackle?
Yeah, that's a great question, really. The reality was we started off and I was in more of a marketing role. I was starting off as a CMO, but it turned out that a lot of what I was working on was very much related to running the company, token stuff, et cetera. And what we ended up doing is realizing that we have so much with building the game and also building the company and having it be Web3 that we needed to divide and conquer in that way. So he took on more of the tech-based roles and some of the more of the game part of it. And then I'm taking on a little bit more of the company management. But we both have a big involvement in the strategy, the vision, and the direction that we're going with not just the game, but also the company. So it's working incredibly well for us.
I love that. Let's get right into it. A lot of the time, I will usually ask our guests for a little bit about themselves. I think for this one, we'll save this at the end.
Sure.
Your game, Cornucopias, you guys really sort of caught fire last couple weeks, I would say. Really blowing up, especially on Twitter. You've had some big influencers, unpaid, one who we had on the podcast, and some BLK Noise. He was shouting you guys out as well. You've had a lot of organic, massive shout outs, people finally realizing this is a team that is built and is building a sick and sweet game. And there aren't many teams still in the space who are really building and actually shipping. There are a lot of those, but there aren't a lot of those who are doing it for fun and really producing really fun games. You guys are. Give us the TLDR, give us the elevator pitch. What exactly is Cornucopias? And tell us a little bit about it. Then we'll get into some of the fun stuff, the status of the game, the expansion strategy, and everything else going on. But the floor is yours. Give us the TLDR on Cornucopias.
Yeah, of course. Well, thanks for the compliment. And yeah, things have gone incredibly well for us lately. I think the industry's seen a little bit of an example of what might happen with gaming and Web3 gaming as a whole in this next bull cycle. So we're getting a taste of that. We also expanded to Ethereum chain recently. So we now have liquidity on Uniswap, which has helped. And then, so all of that working together with the fact that we are building an incredible AAA quality MMORPG game. The lore of Cornucopias is basically humanity has ascended from the Earth's surface due to a great calamity. And there are now these technologies that enable huge bubbles or domes in the sky. And each of these domes have a variety variety of gameplay experiences inside of them. For example, one that's live right now, the status of our game is we've got about 1,000 people that have access to play inside of our racing dome, which is Toledo Valley Raceway. So that is a very metaverse type experience in the resort area, but then you can also leave the resort area and go into the raceway and race your NFT-based vehicles. But each of these domes in the sky offer a different gaming experience, and you can use your vehicles to fly from dome to dome and explore the giant realm that is Cornucopias.
I love that. The racing game is obviously, and that's what I've seen personally, what's really taken off on Twitter. It looks absolutely electric. Before we get into a bunch of the other stuff, I want to talk about the whole sort of aspect of a MMORPG. I used to be a gamer. I would never quantify myself as a massive gamer. Nowhere like yourself or a lot of the loyal fans and gamers and community members that you guys have. But this is a word that is an acronym, that is thrown around all the time. And this is massive multiplayer online role-playing game.
Yes.
That's a 6 words strung into one. What exactly does that mean? I'd love if we could just go down a little rabbit hole on that topic. And I'd love you to explain why MMORPGs are so powerful and have such a high ceiling and such a wide spectrum of abilities for people to come in and join and have a lot of fun with.
Yeah, well, massive multiplayer enables a lot of social elements that you don't see in just a single player game. So that's incredibly powerful in and of itself. And then when you combine that with quality graphics, so you get a lot of people into the game playing together, and then there's quests and different things that allow you to socialize or spend time with others, with your friends inside the game. It creates an experience for people that just a single player game can't do. And so I think that is why you see just amazing MMORPGs taking off. And there's just a lot there in terms of experience for the player, for the gamer, that makes it fun. And then, when you add the Web3 element to that, it just makes it that much more powerful, because with Web3, we've got the power of community. And I have to say, one of the things that is so compelling about Cornucopias, one of our differentiators, we have an amazing community. We've cultivated that completely organic from the very beginning. So people at our team, for example, very passionate. And that is just carried down to our community and what we've done with community. And so now you bring this Web3 element into an MMORPG, and these people are participating in the economics of the game with us. They're participating in the token, and all of that together just creates this highly energized community, and ours happens to be a lot of fun. So we got people that get in and have a game party and go in and play together every day right now. There's a group playing right now as we speak, I'm sure. But it's just a lot of fun.
That's so cool. We got to get into the blockchain aspect of this as well, because everything you've really spoken about so far, and again, this is how you build a successful Web3 game built on Web3 tech, but plays, looks, feels like a Web2 game. That's exactly what you guys are doing. You guys have integrated with both Ethereum and Cardano networks, and you plan to expand the access to additional blockchains and community partners as well. How the hell did you guys build a game that's already integrated with 2 different networks? And I'd love you to talk about the complexities and the nightmare fuel that is present when trying to build a game that is interoperable, that allows users to play and compete and intertwine on a bunch of different blockchains. That's got to be nightmare fuel. Walk us through it. How do you guys make this happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, our strategy has always been start with one community, and then in which we chose Cardano, and then expand to all of Web3. And then eventually we're going after mainstream gamers. That to us was a really wise strategy. And so we were forced to build with quality the entire time, because you're not going to capture mainstream gamers without a real high quality experience. That's just the way it works. So that being said, your question is around how do we, integrate with multiple. So first of all, it was the token. So the token, we started off on Binance Chain. Then we expanded to Cardano when Cardano had more infrastructure. So the token is then on Cardano. Then more recently, we moved some liquidity over to Ethereum as well. And so we have NFTs also. So that was fungible tokens. Now we have NFTs that are the player-owned assets that empower our players to really participate in ownership and the key element of the game using these game assets throughout the world of Cornucopias. So those, and we're expanding to Ethereum with NFTs soon as well. And then when it comes to, so that wasn't that complicated, but having NFTs that are dynamic, that change over time, that there's all sorts of problems you need to solve with NFTs for games. And so that was a nightmare, to be honest. We had to look at, okay, what is the tech available for us to do on Cardano, and what is the upcoming tech on Cardano for NFTs, and what are the options there? And then what are the options on all of the different Ethereum protocols for NFTs, and what is upcoming, and what does it look like that is moving towards? And then we had to figure out what's the lowest common denominator for both of those to make sure that we can have the same experience for NFTs with both as much as possible. So that was an incredible challenge. But for the most part, with the tokens, that part was easy. We had partners that helped us with that, and Chainport played a big part of that. They're a bridge that worked incredibly well, and we just deployed liquidity on various platforms. So overall, it wasn't too bad, but the NFT part was a little challenging.
Of course, that's got to be a little banana lands there. Another thing I want to discuss, speaking of NFTs, is how you guys continue to sell out. The drops are gonzo in minutes every single time. Like, what's the secret sauce here? I know this is a genuine $1 million question that I'm asking, but like, you guys have I think you're at 45K Twitter followers, about 50K on Discord. Really good, but there's other communities that have more that don't sell out in minutes. What's the secret sauce here?
Yeah. And that's with a smaller community on Cardano. I mean, it is a top 10 layer one without a doubt, but in terms of community ecosystem, when you compare it to other chains. So the answer to your question is, it goes right back to people. Our strategy has always been, let's put high quality graphics out and high quality gaming experience and high quality experience in everything that we do, right? So the community is incredibly passionate. The team is passionate. All of those really add fuel to the fire. And when you have that and you're delivering consistently over time, Rob and I, we have a show called COPI Cafe, where we communicate with our community every single week. We barely miss those, and it's hard to pull off because we have to figure out around everything else we have going on, when are we going to shoot this show? But the effort of that, the point of that was, this is crypto, and people need to see what you're doing. They need transparency because so many projects out there aren't building, and they keep kind of a veil of smoke and mirrors. And I don't want to talk bad about anybody at all, because a lot of projects are building, and you see who's doing that through the bear cycle. But what we've done with COPI Cafe is just show people over and over and over again what we're building and remain transparent with the community. So when you combine a passionate community with transparency, with high quality graphics, AAA quality custom graphics, and the lore of our game, all of that pulls people into an exciting vision that's just empowered even more by Web3.
Josh, you just brought up the word lore. This is a 4-letter word that is thrown around all over the place. You guys actually have done it. Every gaming team in the world, all creators in the world want to create lore. How does one create lore? Like, this is... I feel like, and my apologies if I'm overstepping here, but I feel like a lot of it is, there's a shit ton of luck that goes into lore as well, because you guys can't really test the lore beforehand. You know what I mean? It's like you have this vision of what the lore of your game is going to be, how it's going to look, what is your messaging, what is your graphics like, what is the style, the lighting, blah, blah, blah. And then you either have lore or you don't. I feel like it's binary. You know what I mean? How did you guys do it? And what advice would you give to game studios, developers, creators who are trying to achieve and create lore in their games?
What advice would I give? I don't know that I'm qualified for advice on lore, to be honest, because I haven't done it enough. But I will say this. I think our lore is incredible. And what we have done is we started with a vision for the game. And the idea was, and the reason I'm so passionate about it is this game allows us to create in so many ways. And creating happens to be a huge one of my values personally. And that's what I want to be involved in is something where we can continually create. And so the lore, it ended up really empowering that vision. So we needed to find a story that made sense. And as a team, we worked together and we built this foundational story. We had a guy named Jake on the team that's a writer, and he came in and helped us with some ideas. Then we bounced that back and forth. We started cultivating this story that resulted in humanity ascending above the Earth's surface into these giant domes and bubbles, which happen to be really cool looking as well. So it's almost like we've created this lore that involves space travel, but also encompasses the huge amount of variety that is in our vision that's needed. And so collectively, the lore empowered our vision and our vision empowered the lore. That's about the best way I could answer it. And so I think you nailed it in some ways. We got lucky with how that worked out, but it was also just creative storytelling. How do we create this story, the backbone for what it is that we're building? And we all got in together and we iterated on it over and over. Now it's, I think, up to like 50 pages that we haven't yet released, but there's a lot more to it. We've only released a tiny amount of the lore. There's so much more, and which is exciting. And if you go to the Cornucopias wiki, for anybody watching, there's a ton. There's like 400 pages in our wiki. You can really research everything that we're doing. That's like, we started with a white paper, and it was like 30 pages. And then we said, well, we need a lot more. So we started building out the Cornucopias wiki, and that's just an enormous resource for everybody to find out more about us. The lore will also be in there eventually when we fully publicize it.
That's so cool. Lore's such an interesting topic, something I'd love to learn more about. Josh, you are buzzing, but we need to take a quick break and give a massive shout out to our sponsor of the show and longtime friends of cryptonews.com. That is the one and only Prime XBT. You guys know and love Prime XBT. They offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. If you demand highly reliable market data and performance and love to trade, Prime XBT is for you. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running an exclusive promotion for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. The promo code is CryptoNews50. That's CryptoNews50, CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. And now back to the show with Josh. Let's keep buzzing on Cornucopias for a little bit. I would love to learn a little bit more about the status of the game. A bunch of cool things out right now. Way more cool things coming out in the near future. Again, for reference, this episode is dropping early Q1 on, I want to say, Jan 2. Might even be Jan 1. It's literally going to be the first 2 days of 2024. So with that in mind, Josh, what do we have to look forward to coming up? What is the current status of the game? And then we'll keep buzzing on the game and what else there is to come.
Yeah, man. So a lot of fun stuff happening. Number one, right now, the status of the game is we're in pre-alpha. So 1,000 people, or maybe a little bit more than that, already have access to play the game from the public, from our community. And we're doing now these new things where we're going to communities and we're saying, hey, do you have people that want to play? We can give you 30 passes. And so we're starting to grow with these different various alpha communities and influencer communities as well, so that we can really just empower the community to see how amazing this game is and how cool the graphics are, because you don't really know from just watching the YouTube videos. Everyone says, wow, your YouTube videos are amazing. But then when they get in and they experience the game, they're mind blown. So that is one thing that is, that's the status. So that's our racing game. Toledo Valley Resort and Toledo Valley Raceway is live. In addition to, since this is airing in 2024, Rumble Ball, which is a really cool new little tiny game that we have for people. So you're running around the resort and you might just be able to engage in a game of Rumble Ball, which is very similar to soccer or football if you're from the UK area. So the game is, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. The physics are amazing in that. It's, so I think people are they're having a lot of fun with that and a lot of fun with racing, but that's only one small element of the game that's been made live. So that's the status. We're also currently running a node sale. And so nodes are a way to participate in adding value to our ecosystem. And the way the node sales work is, I don't know what tier we'll be on by the time this airs, but whatever tier you're on, you can buy a node or you can buy 10 nodes. And with our nodes, you can operate up to 50 most likely from one computer. So you just buy these node license NFTs, and then you participate in the rewards for that. And you're providing us a service by operating the node. You're helping us to improve our game download speeds for all the users, and you're helping us to not have a single point of failure. So it creates more security and safety and better user experience in Cornucopias for all these tidal wave of new users that we expect to be coming from crypto in 2024. So it's a very important piece of technology that we'll be launching in 2024, and the node sale is active and live right now. Also, we've previously sold land NFTs, and these land NFTs are coming available very soon. That's going to be in our themed zones. Theme zones are the giant bubbles in the sky, like I mentioned. One of them, you might have seen this in some of our graphics, looks like Colorado. There's streams and beautiful mountains and beautiful aspen trees and a huge landscape, 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers. We're going to be opening up multiple of those domes, which each one in and of themselves takes about 2 hours to walk across on the X or the Y axis. So it's a huge amount of land to explore. And so that's going to be really cool. And people are going to be able to pick their properties in 2024. They're going to be able to find out, hey, I'm taking my NFT that I've owned for a while now, and I get to pick my land and place that down and then start building on it, which is really exciting. So a lot of cool things coming up in 24. We're really going to be scaling up the team probably more in about March, April, and building out segmented teams for a variety of value adds to the game to speed up certain areas, which will be exciting as well. So for example, the character avatar creator should be launched early January, if not February, most likely. And that's going to create variety in the game. But that means you can go and create your own avatar. There's tons of different presets that you can change: the lips, the nose, the mouth, the skin, the hair color, all that stuff. And then you create your own avatar. Well, we currently only have a few different outfits. We maybe like 20 outfits for the avatars. That means we need to really ramp up our outfits team. So we'll be ramping that up in 24. We'll also be ramping up the team that helps us to build out the custom domes, which is another really amazing feature of Cornucopias, which is where the community is empowered to build their own gaming experiences. So that means for those, we're going to be building out player development kits or downloadable content kits. So you might say, hey, I'm going to start something for Crypto News. This is for our community only. We're going to do a PvP battle, and I want it to be a tropical landscape, and they're going to be playing a battle like Capture the Flag, and you get to set that up with the kits that we provide you. So you get to create and place the trees and set the environment and all of those things, which really can be exciting because it's going to be an incredible challenge for us, but that's why we need to get a full team around it. So sorry, long answer, but we have a lot coming. I love that. Yeah.
So on top of beefing up the team and really just increasing sort of the internal and external bandwidth, main goal of every single game is to increase daily active users, right? That's sort of DAU, and I could be wrong here, but DAU is the most powerful metric when it comes to gaming. That just means you have the most attention. If you have the most attention, you have the most power. We live in a world of power. Everyone here gets the point. What is your guys' expansion strategy to increase DAU, daily active users, interoperability, marketing?
Yeah.
What else? What else do we have on the docket in order to really blow this up and grab a bunch of market share and attention from not only Web3 gamers, but Web2 gamers as well?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot there. So you named two of them. Interoperability is important because now that's created a marketing plan that's around marketing to all of Web3. And eventually what I mentioned before is going mainstream. And so advancing our marketing to target mainstream gamers. Of course, we've been grabbing some mainstream gamers already through our marketing, but when you really start to focus strategically around that, you really start to get access to a new target market of people. So that's just one. A start there. Then next up, you have the actual game itself and the game releases. We're involving our community with each game release, and we do that on a monthly cadence, which is very, very exciting. And this is counterintuitive. It's a different paradigm than mainstream games, because mainstream games typically build 5 to 8 years, and then they finally release something, and then they get the community input. As opposed to Web3 gaming, where you build, involve the community all along the way on a regular cadence. And with our team, the regular cadence is awesome. We are releasing new stuff on a monthly basis, new game releases every single month that has tons more things to get people excited about. So the community gets more excited, more people are pulled in, more people are enjoying the game, more daily active users. We also have to be able to scale with that. So we're setting up our server ecosystem to be able to handle high amounts of volume and remain performant. So there's that as well. But the final thing that I would say for that question is the reward system. We've got a reward system, and we don't like to call it play to earn because our game is fun. People are playing to have fun, but we're going to utilize our rewards in creative ways. For example, there might be a racing tournament. We're likely going to do something called the Race of the Chains, where we involve multiple different chains and we have a racing tournament in 2024. So things like that really pull people into what you're doing, and it builds hype, and we'll have a lot of sponsors and various people that are involved in that to bring in multiple other ecosystems and involve the crypto community and have something incredibly fun that results in finally a in-person conference style live race of the final 10 of the best in the world. So that kind of thing is another deal that we will have going on next year as well. So hopefully that answered your question. Go-to-market strategy is always, for me, about people first. Involving strategic communities and offering them value, significant value. So hopefully my answer covered each of those elements. I think it did.
No, that was electric. Thank you. We are getting a little tight for time. A couple more questions here, Josh. You got to give me the lowdown on COPI. COPI is your guys' coin. We do not talk about a lot of price action on the pod ever. However, you guys, it would be nonsensical for me to not note that COPI has absolutely ripped over the last month. I want to say 2 cents all the way up to 12 cents. Quick math, 600%. That's pretty crazy. What is the reason behind this? I know, again, like I said, we're not going to get into speculation. We're not going to talk about anything buy my coin related. But I'd love, just as someone who's also interested in COPI, if you could give me sort of the quick value prop. What exactly is it used for? If I was perhaps interested in buying COPI, why would I buy it? And if you could just give us a little bit of TLDR on why COPI ripped so hard over the last couple of weeks, that would be lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, COPI, it gives you utility in our ecosystem. And so we're going to have governance around COPI holders. We're also going to have the ability to use COPI for in-game assets and things of that nature. So you can participate in buying a special vehicle utilizing your COPI. So governance and in-game assets and participating in the in-game economy, which makes it a lot of fun. The TLDR on why the growth, I think there's been a large amount of interest. We're heading into the next bull cycle for crypto. So the Bitcoin halving is in 2024. I think it's like April 24th or something like that, March 24th, somewhere around there. Anyway, that creates some anticipation with the OG crypto community. And so I think there's a little bit just happening just from that, because you see this new momentum with Bitcoin and many of the other coins are correlated. But we also, like you said, have started to get some attention based upon the quality of what we're putting out there. And I think that's the most important reason, is people are seeing that Cornucopias has been delivering. These guys have been working their asses off in the bear cycle, and they've been producing, delivering. So we have been building a quality game and a quality community, and people are finally starting to see it. Furthermore, we expanded, as mentioned before, liquidity to the Ethereum ecosystem on Uniswap. And, there's a lot of new users that are holding COPI from Ethereum. So I think it's a combination of all of those. And there's probably some other factors I haven't even considered, but most importantly, people see what we're doing and they get excited. Oh, wow, this is a solid project. At least that's what I would say.
I love that. Josh, give me a couple hot takes before we let you go here today. It doesn't have to be Web3 gaming related. It can be anything that tickles your fancy. It can be health, wealth, happiness, space, AI, you name it. Give me a couple hot takes or things that you are passionate about current day before we wrap up and let you go.
Okay. All right. That's a good question. Hot takes. Well, I think number one, I'm incredibly excited about, and this is kind of on topic, but Web3 gaming. I think we're going to see a totally new crypto this time around, because you have legitimate gaming projects in Web3 that are bringing in a new wave of users. And I think that's bringing powerful utility for the crypto industry. And I think it's an amazing thing, and I'm excited to see that happening, because I believe the crypto industry is very important for tons of reasons read earlier in my bio, but also just empowering people and transparency and all the things that come with it. I also think that aside from the Web3 gaming and that tidal wave that we would likely see coming up this next cycle, I think AI is going to have a pretty cool implication in regards to how it combines with gaming and also crypto. So some powerful new storylines might be coming out this next year. I know for one, at Cornucopias, we are looking to have AI-powered NPC NFTs. So for anyone that's noticing the mouthful of acronyms there, that's basically you take an NPC, a non-player character that's in the game. So maybe you and I are in Cornucopias playing and another character walks up to us. It's not powered by an actual player, but it's programmed in the system to add some sort of value, right? Well, if you empower that player with AI, like a LLM, like a large language model, like ChatGPT or something like that, but it's refined to the Cornucopias lore and data set, you now have a player that you can have a conversation with, provided it's performance enough and fast enough with the data. So now you have an AI-powered NPC. Well, take that a step further and turn it into an NFT, and the player can own their own AI NPC. So that's kind of, it's hard to talk about that because there's so many acronyms, but it's just one little example of what I think could happen with AI and gaming. There's so much more. And I think that I'm intimidated by what AI can do, by the power, because I think we don't really know where it's going to go just yet. And I think we do need to be mindful of it. But I also think it can add a lot of value as well. So it's something that we intend to utilize. And it's something that we also want to remain cautious of. That's from our team at Cornucopias. That's kind of our approach to it. So yeah, those are my hot takes. Hopefully that covered it.
AI is going to be wild, especially in gaming, especially 3-4 years down the road when the best Cornucopias player is probably going to be some AI bot. That's just, that's all how it's going to go, is he or she or it is going to, it's going to read the script a bajillion, quadrillion times, and it's going to know all the best moves, how to dominate, and boom. I'm excited for that. That'll be a fun time. As always, we're humans. We are the top, the top dogs for a reason. We'll adapt and iterate, and we'll continue to run the show. So I'm not worried. I'm excited for that. Josh, incredible episode. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Before we let you go, can you please let our listeners know where they can find you and Cornucopias online and on socials?
Absolutely. So you can find me at Kiev Joshua on Twitter, and you can find Cornucopias Game at Cornucopias Game on Twitter, and that's CORNUCOPIASGAME. That's on Twitter. And then also our website, and please only go to our official sites, because there's a lot of scammers out there. When there's value, there's scammers. And so that is definitely occurring. So the website is cornucopias.io. So come check us out. We'd love to have you join our community. Go to our Discord. There's a link tree on our Twitter, so you'll be able to easily find our Discord and join our community and just get involved and ask questions because our community is very welcoming. It's a cool atmosphere in there, and everyone wants to help you get acquainted with what we're doing and what's going on. And so you'll get all sorts of answers real quick.
Love it. Thanks again, Josh. Appreciate it. Can't wait for round 2.
Yeah. Thank you. Good to see you.
Folks, what an episode with Josh Jones, co-CEO and co-founder of Cornucopias. An incredible game. We covered a whole bunch of stuff today. Gaming on Cardano, ETH, interoperability, and of course, everything Cornucopias related. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking of the team, love you guys so much. Thank you for everything. As always, Eustace, my amazing sound editor, you are the GOAT. Thank you, my man. I'm back to the listeners. Love you guys. Keep on growing those bags. Keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Let's kick off the new year in style, hit the ground running, and achieve our goals. Love you all. Bye for now. We'll talk soon.